Hey, what's going on everybody? It's Wilhelm Scream, and welcome back to the channel for more Destiny 2 news and intel. And you're probably going to want to jump on Destiny 2 as soon as possible, because you have less than 24 hours to pick up an item that has never actually been sold before. There's actually a couple of other good items as well that have been sold once, if ever. So I'm going to run you through all the intel regarding those things, and a few other weekly reset, as well as glitch, farm, cheese information as usual. If you enjoy this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And turn on the bell to post notifications so you never miss out on any future Destiny 2 content like this. You can also follow me on Instagram. It'll be linked in the description box down below. Remember any of those things I just mentioned. Also enter you into any future giveaways on this channel, and we do one every 1,000 subscribers, so you never want to miss out. When we get to 100,000 subscribers on the channel, we'll be giving away a new console or a video card if you play on PC. You can also stick around till the end of the video for the secret hashtag you can leave in the comment section for another entry into the next giveaway for this video. Remember, those secret hashtags stack between all videos. So if you haven't done this on a previous piece of content on this channel, you can always go back, check out another video, and of course do it again. Or you can leave a comment down below on any of the topics of discussion in today's video. That'll also give you another entry into the next giveaway, or anything I might mispronounce. As always, there's always something I mispronounce in every video. You can leave that in the comment section down below. I'll also give you another entry into the next giveaway. The refurbished Black Armory shader is not a new one, but certainly one that hasn't been for sale for quite some time, and I always thought the Black Armory shaders and cosmetics were some of the best. Let me know if you agree in the comments section. Of course, that'll be another entry into the next giveaway. But this one, somewhat unique, little bit of a texture to it that I find very cool, and just sort of a ombre color theme. I think that's the correct terminology. So for anybody out there who's super into the cosmetic side of Destiny 2, and I'm sure there's a lot who are listening, maybe consider picking that one up. Not the main thing we're here for today, though. Number one, and you still have, as I said, 24 hours at the time you're probably seeing this in order to pick up this item, because tomorrow at the weekly reset time, XUR, who is here on the weekends, will disappear, but currently is selling the Deathbringer Catalyst. Now, if you don't know what the Deathbringer is, it is a rocket launcher that shoots these big void orbs that eventually split and track to the enemy you're trying to kill. So this is a very unique weapon, and actually was really good when it was first released. I haven't used it in quite some time, but this has never been sold from XUR, or at least it hasn't been sold since at least a few years, maybe even since the Exoitc was initially released, which I think was back in 2019, maybe 2018. It's been quite a long time, if ever at all. So I think where rocket launchers are at the moment, this is one of those ones that is worth giving a second look, even though I haven't used it in a while. Actually, haven't really used rocket launchers at all in quite some time, and I think once the Gjallarhorn was re-released, all those sort of meta rocket launchers that kind of did bits and pieces of what people liked about Gjallarhorn kind of got pushed aside. But I think this one is still unique enough, and with the Catalyst and the current champion meta, is really worth a second look, especially because I think this Exoitc is one of the easier ones to come by. So if you're a newer player or a solo player, this is a really good one to pick up. Also, there's a benefit to this particular Exoitc in that I said it tracks to the enemy. So say you're a solo player and you need to stay in a cover spot or a cheese spot, as I always like to find, or maybe even a glitch spot, who knows. But you still need to shoot out of the cover and you don't have a direct line of sight on the enemy you have to kill. This is a way of getting around that. You could simply lob this up into the sky and eventually it will find its target. So very much worth picking up if you don't have it. increases how quickly Dark Descent reaches its full potential. So it essentially just makes the whole process of shooting your orb, the rocket orb, a whole lot faster. So it just does damage quicker with the catalyst. Consider it. We also have the Heir Apparent Catalyst, which also has not been sold in a really, really long time, and is usually tied to Guardian game events kind of things, or at least it has been in the past. Maybe they've moved it out of that sort of cycle of activities, and that's why we're seeing it here more. I believe it was sold maybe once a year ago, but that was from a completely different iteration of XUR. So since XUR has been in this spot since last summer, he has not sold Heir Apparent, at least the Catalyst, so far as I know. I believe he has sold the Exoitc maybe once. But in any case, also pick this up if you don't have it. This is another good weapon for soloing stuff, as it creates an arc shield around you, increases the arc shield's durability, partially reloads the magazine if it is destroyed. So the Catalyst on this one is definitely a big upgrade. We had a Knucklehead Radar with a 67 roll, which was also pretty good. We had the One Eye Mask with a 65 roll, which is also a pretty good PvP Exoitc still. And then we have the Aeon Soul with a 67 roll. Very high roll, though maybe not the most sought after Exoitc. We also had Exotic class items still available to farm for the next 24 hours. Over on the second page, we had the Prospector. We had the Sunshot, which is a must-have if you don't have it for PvE, as well as PvP if you're on the right class, but definitely a very meta Exoitc, especially for solar builds or just in general. It's a really good PvE-focused Exoitc, in my opinion. I know that hunters also like to use it for PvP, but it's never really been my thing in PvP. We also had the Huckleberry, and we had a very decent Hawkmoon with Hipfire Grip and Textured Grip. So high aim assist on this one. Legendary weapons, there was not really any standouts, but you can pick up any of these in the next 24 hours if you don't have them. And the legendary armor was decent, but I would only really suggest picking it up if you are a new or a solo player and you don't have a chance to really farm out more or better endgame armor. This is decent stuff, but armor, of course, will be upgraded come the summer DLC, so make sure to keep that in mind when purchasing any armor specifically, because it's going to change quite a bit. We're actually going to be getting tier sets of armor, which I am really excited about. So we'll actually have like a tier 3, tier 4, tier 5, and I believe currently the best armor that you can get in the game, which is, I believe, from Rite of the 9, is only going to be a tier 3. Real Daz hanging out with me in the tower today in his very cool Kylo Ren outfit and an excellent shader, which we're also going to talk about. And since Real Dez is here, maybe we'll just inspect him really quick. Of course, it's not going to let me interact, but let's just open up Real Dez really quick and check out that shader if we can. As you can see, it actually has sort of an RGB effect to it. Looks very good on the Kylo Ren shader, or on the Kylo Ren armor. And this is the Sanguinice, I believe, shader. It is also in the Eververse store for Bright Dust at the moment. I'll give a closer look in just 1 second. But this is an incredibly unique shader. Very rarely do we have ones that actually intentionally have effects like this, and it looks great on the Kylo Ren armor, in my opinion, but also on other armor. So we're going to check that out a little bit more in just 1 second. But before we do, we're just going to Look at Banshee 44 because he has some amazing stuff for sale this week. We had the Nox Perennial 5 with a loose change elemental capacitor wild card, but this is a fully enhanceable weapon right out of the box. So always good when you see one of these for sale. And everything else is craftable from Banshee 44 this week. And remember, this will all reset tomorrow at the weekly reset time. So if you're looking for a Semotician or a Hall of Denial, any of these weapons to craft, a Nizarac's Whisper, now's the time to pick them up. Remember, once you have 3 of them, you can use your Deep Sight Harmonizers in order to craft them at the crafting table. I'm personally more a fan of enhanceable weapons at the moment. I don't know if I necessarily want crafting to go away completely, but I definitely want it to change, and it will be changing, I think, generally heading into the summer DLC in the Edge of Fate. Excuse me, the Edge of... It's the Year of Prophecy. It's the Edge of Fate is the very first expansion. Year of Prophecy, I believe, includes Renegade. So when the Edge of Fate launches, we'll be getting a whole change to armor, crafting, a whole bunch of other stuff. So I think it's about time. I do believe the crafting table might still be there, though. I'm not totally sure exactly what they're going to do with that. So if you know, let me know in the comment section down below. But as I said, we have the Sanguinice shader, which looks really cool on my Crota armor. For anybody who's curious, as I do get questions fairly often on where I actually got this armor set, this is the Crota's End Raid armor set. So you acquire it by doing Crota's End Raid. You can actually get it from, I believe, the first and second encounter. I don't know if you have to do all 3 to get all 3, to get everything in this set. You might have to do all 3 encounters or all 4 encounters, but in any case, I acquired it by doing the Crota's End Raid, and then I turned all that armor into universal ornaments through the Loom by 801, where we just were, and then I'm able to wear it on top of my Artifice armor, which I currently have equipped. So, for anybody who was curious, I love this armor set. I think it's personally one of the best armor sets ever actually put into the game that is unique specifically to the game. Of course, now we have Darth Vader, which I don't know if you can really beat, but I do think this is a very unique to Destiny look. Maybe one of the most unique Destiny looks. I mean, come on. A couple other things for sale this week. We had the Death plus Infinity weapon ornament for the Cerberus +1, and I still plan on making a video about how weapon ornaments actually can change how good a weapon is in certain cases, as certain ornaments actually change the sights. So certain weapons become a lot more forgiving. One that I think is probably the biggest standout is the Forerunner. That's the sidearm that's actually a special weapon, essentially from Halo, the original Halo pistol. There is a ornament that I can't think of the name of at the moment, but it changes the sight on that weapon. It makes it much smaller, and when that is easier to hit headshots with, that weapon is incredibly deadly. So, though it's a good weapon anyway, I think that one ornament is kind of a glitch in my opinion. I don't think it was meant to increase the ability to auto-aim, or the auto-aim on the weapon that much, but this one I also believe changes the sight slightly, so it might be worth checking out, and I will make a more comprehensive video on all the ornaments that do change weapons at a later time. So if you're also interested in that, you can let me know in the comments section down below. Pick up any of these other exotic cosmetic items if you don't have them. That's actually a fun ghost shell. Over at the Vanguard this week, a couple of things available. Maybe not the best farm this week as far as Nightfalls went, but We have the new Cruel Mercy pulse rifle, and we had the Wild Style grenade launcher available. Remember, these were both dropping in tandem, so there's a chance you can get one of each on every Nightfall run. Guaranteed, if you can complete the GM difficulty, you will get at least one of each, especially if you can complete it on the with a platinum score. I believe a gold score will get you at least one of them, but a platinum score will guarantee one of each to drop on the Grandmaster difficulty. This week's Nightfall, which I think everybody's going to be anxious to be rid of. This week was the Sunless Cell. So I actually think that this is a great strike, but maybe not the best for farming. Great strike, really fun strike. If you haven't had a chance to run it, definitely worth a try, but probably not the best farm. Last week with the Warden of Nothing was by far the easiest farm. Lastly, in the tower, over at St. 14, we still have Trials of Osiris available for the next 24 hours. We had a weapon I think we haven't seen it in a while, but the reroll is currently available. I don't know if I feel like we have seen it not that long ago, but this particular iteration of it maybe is the first time we've had it, as there were people who were able to actually pick up this weapon if you had the Trials ranks up as soon as the episode launched, but this week we have the Inquisitor Adept as well as the Aisha's Care Adept. Now, this weapon is great for PvE, and I recommend any PvE players out there trying to get their hands on it. The Inquisitor, I think, is really more of a PvP-focused weapon, so might not be quite as worth it, but Lighthouse Passage, you can get both of these. Remember that for the Adept, though, you still need to have, I think, a 7 win streak, even if you do go to the Lighthouse. But cool weapons all around there. And lastly, remember we still have Rite of the Nine going on for the next few weeks. So head over to the Eternity if you're interested in any of the weapons available there. And there is one unique one, which I'm going to make my way over there really quick just to share with you guys, because I think it's got a bit of a glitched perk. And I might make a video with a little bit more detail specifically on this perk later on, but I can kind of run you through the brief details very quick. We had, of course, Spire of the Watcher available again this week, which I know people were a little bit unhappy about. Apparently, though, Bungie has listened, and they've shortened the 3-week rotation of each dungeon to a 2-week rotation. So tomorrow we will be getting Ghost of the Deep as the new Rite of the Nine dungeon. I believe Spire of the Watcher will still be available, but Ghost of the Deep will also be available. I think that's how they're doing this. To be honest, I am a little bit confused about how this event is supposed to function, as I kind of thought it was going to be a little bit more like Pantheon, the raid version of this, or what I thought was going to be the raid version of this last year. It's not really that, but in any case, we do have some exotics available that were never available before through the Rite of the Nine, at least not available without doing the Ghost in the Deep, but you can get the Navigator at the moment from doing Spire of the Watcher. I would say Spire of the Watcher is a little bit easier than Ghost in the Deep, so if you don't have the Navigator yet, it might be worth picking that up by doing Spire of the Watcher. And as I said, I don't know if both will be available next week or if it's just going to be one or the other. I kind of hope it's both, but the weapon that I did want to tell you about that I probably will do a little bit more of a deep dive into later is this, the Long Arm Scout Rifle. Now, this comes with a unique perk. I believe it's recycled energy. And I don't know if this was on this weapon always, but the way that perk works is you gain class item energy every single time you reload. Now, normally this perk, not that great. You have to, of course, get a kill first, and then every single time you reload after you get that first kill, or when you reload after you get that first kill, it will give you class energy back. So if you're someone who loves to use the bolt charge, if you're on a Titan and you're just throwing your shields out every 5 seconds in order to get bolt charge, this is going to be the weapon for you. Because normally that perk doesn't really do too much because you're reloading a clip of ammo every single time. So say you normally shoot a enemy, you get the kill, you reload the clip, you'll get a little bit of class energy, and it's not very much. But because this is a single bolt shot weapon, every single time you load a bullet, you actually get class energy back. And because I think there's 9 bullets or 10 bullets in the clip, every single one of those essentially adds the same amount that you would get on a full clip reload normally. So you can get bolt shot back really, really fast. You're going to be getting your class ability back incredibly quick. And that's not the way that this is really intended, or at least it's a very interesting way. And if it's, it's kind of one of those sneaky things. If it is intended to be working that way, yeah, thank you, Bungie. But if not, use it while you can. So as I said, you have to get kill first, and then you just reload the entire magazine, but it's going to be 1 bullet at a time, and every single time you do that, you will get a portion of your class energy back, and by the time you refill it, you'll have your entire class ability back. So if you'd like to see that more in a little bit more detail, let me know in the comment section down below for another entry into the next giveaway. And that is going to conclude all the information today. Hopefully you found something in this video helpful. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell to post notifications so you never miss out on any future Destiny 2 content like this. If you've watched till this point in the video, you can leave also a hashtag RealDez, or a hashtag Banshee44, or hashtag Rite of the 9, or hashtag The Edge of Fate, or hashtag Year of Prophecy in the comments section down below for another entry into the next giveaway for this video. And once more, I'm Wilhelm Scream. Thanks so much for watching, as always. And of course, we will see you next time. Little!